Good Thursday morning, Lane School Bulldogs. It is Thursday, April 30th, 2020. Today we have an interview from Mrs. Stiglitz. We also have our letter of the day, which is D. You'll see in just a moment what Mrs. Lynch is going to share with us about that letter. But before we do any of that, please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, Bulldogs, happy Thursday. Today is D is for dance party. I'm hoping that you will bust a move today and show me some of your best dance moves. Dancing's a great way to get some energy out, and there's so many different kinds of dancing you could do. So make a playlist. Dance around the house, dance outside, show us what you've got. Have a great day, because D is for dance party.
Next up, we have an interview
with Mrs. Stiglitz. All right, boys and girls, I'm really excited about our next guest. We are fortunate enough to have Mrs. Stiglitz, our teacher librarian, joining us to answer our 3 questions today. How are you doing today, Mrs. Stiglitz?
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing well, thanks. My boys are somewhere hiding in the house, so I'm glad it's quiet right now. Are you ready to answer our 3 questions for our students today?
I am.
Okay. Question number 1. What fun activities have you done to keep busy when you aren't supporting our teachers, of course, during the stay-at-home order?
Well, it may surprise everybody, but I have been reading. I'm still just reading kids' books, though. I haven't gotten around my summertime. I sometimes read books for adults. I haven't gotten to that yet. Haven't had time yet. I've started some seeds for my garden for when spring comes up, and that's always so exciting when the little plants come up through the ground. I get very excited about that. So must lead a dull life. I have varnished the shelf markers that kids painted at Maker Night. So those are ready to go whenever we can get back into the school. They're ready for me to use. And then something else, maybe a little more serious, I've been using the school's 3D printer to print parts for face shields for people who are helping us fight coronavirus. So pretty much 24 hours a day, our school's 3D printer is down in my office, and it's printing these parts. And what it will be is the person would wear it this way, and they attach, I'm not doing it, somebody else will attach a plastic shield here, and then this other little piece sort of holds it, weights down the plastic and keeps it away from the person's face. So that I've been doing, as are the other librarians in the district. And it kind of feels good because in most cases we can't do much about coronavirus except stay away from other people. And this sort of makes me feel like I'm helping. So that's one thing I've been doing. And another one, if you happen to have come to Maker Night, we had the Zone tools out, which nobody's played with yet much at school because we were going to do that now, right after spring break. We were going to use them for geometry. So we did start a Zone tool project at Maker Night. And then a couple of kids, Millen and Adbeth, had been helping me with it, but then they canceled school. And so I finished it myself. And these are the Zone tools. There's little colored rods and little round balls. And once we get back to school, several of the grades will be using this. I don't know if it's a toy or a tool, but they'll be using that to learn geometry. So that was kind of fun for me. It was kind of a challenge, but I enjoyed it.
Well, that's a lot of really cool activities you're doing. I got to say that seeing you pick that object up right there, I know I walked by the library several times in February and saw that it was nowhere close to that. So that was a lot of work. And yeah, let me be the first to say thank you and the rest of our librarians for that important work. I know that utilizing our 3D printer to support our first responders and our healthcare workers, that's huge. So I appreciate you taking your time at home. And I know that that's, like you said, down there running 24/7. That's amazing. So thank you so much for doing that. We really appreciate it. Question number 2 for you. And I think you started to talk about this, and this is almost selfishly for me. you have any recommendations of a good book or two that we should read?
Always. But I hate to give out blanket recommendations because what you like and what I like may be totally different things, even if we're best friends. And so what I personally have been reading right now are the battle books, because the librarians, we've picked our battle list for next year. And so two of the ones that I've been reading are Spy School by Stuart Gibbs. And I know we have a lot of Stuart Gibbs fans in our building. He's writes several different series. And then Race to the Bottom of the Sea, which is one we haven't had in our library till now, which is a really cool adventure story full of sharks and pirates and things. So it's really hard to give a recommendation that for something that a kindergartner would want to read and a fifth grader would want to read. But for most of our grades, grades 2 and up, if they look back at the library lesson from April 6th, I gave everyone a slideshow, and the slideshow shows next year's Monarch list and next year's Blue Stem list. And then at the end of those slideshows, I listed a bunch of books for each grade level that are available in Access 360. Because it doesn't do me much good to say, oh, go read this great book if you don't have it sitting around at your house. So I did give a bunch of recommendations for books that are available on Access 360. Now, I didn't do that for kindergarten and first, but I will post that pretty soon and give them the Monarch list in case they want to read those. But in Access 360, people can look at browse the categories. So if I love dinosaurs or I like pirates or whatever, I can go in there and look for books about that. So it's probably more useful than me giving a blanket recommendation to 300 kids.
Well, I think I love the way you recommended specific areas that we can use to find books that we like. I love that you guys already have the book battle of the books chosen. I know this year I tried to read a lot of those books with several students. Luckily I'm ahead of the game because I'm on Spy School book number 3. So they are really fun. I like those a lot. And then our final question for today is, what advice do you have for our students to help them stay successful during remote learning? Obviously, we are finishing up this school year in remote learning. So how can they stay successful?
Well, beyond just getting your schoolwork done and paying attention to it, I think it's really important that we all remember to go outside or to at least get up and move around. In my normal day at school, I never sit down, or almost never sit down. And now I'm sitting at my computer like all day long because I need to be available if someone asks me a question. So for me personally, I have to remember to stand up and move around because I'm not used to sitting. So I think that's a good one. And I think, assuming your schoolwork doesn't take you the whole 6-hour normal day and you don't have clubs and sports after school anyway, it's a good time to pursue some other interest. So this week in the library lesson links, I did give a new place for people to look for nonfiction books. It's a service that's available. They're giving it to us for the rest of the school year. So if you're interested in magic tricks or you're interested in something, it's a good time to try to get better at it. Maybe coding, maybe anything like that. And I think that's good. But probably most importantly, we spend a lot of time during the school year learning about good digital citizenship. And I hope that was good prep for what we're going through now, because we're not used to communicating this much on computers, and we're not used to turning on cameras in our homes and things like that. And so I hope that kids will be mindful when they have their cameras and microphones on, that you're respecting the privacy of the rest of your family. You might not want to set up in the kitchen where people need to come in and get a glass of water or that sort of thing. And that everybody you're communicating with, whether it's through a video chat like this or through email, there's a real person on the other end. And we forget that sometimes when we're just doing digital. Plus, when you're communicating through email, it's a lot harder to show humor or sarcasm and make sure you're not misinterpreted. So that would be, remember the things that we've learned about digital citizenship, because now's really the time to put them to use.
Thank you. I think those are all really good points. And ironically, I don't know if it showed up on this screen, but while you were talking about finding a good workspace, my son Ferris came in and he was very quiet and respectful. I really appreciate that. But I know that we have lots of students whose families are working from home and trying to do virtual meetings and things like that. And everything you said, I think, is spot on. Make sure that you are recognizing others and where you're working in the house, but also other people on the other end are they're real people and they're just like you. They're just on the other side of the computer. So that being said, Mrs. Stiglitz, I really appreciated your time today. Thank you so much. And I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day.
Can't wait to see you all in person.
Thanks. Have a good one. That's all of our announcements. Say it loud enough for them to hear.
Have a terrific Tuesday, Bulldogs.
It's Thursday.
Oh.
You really like Tuesday. Have a terrific Thursday, Bulldogs. He's got a bulldog on his shirt today. It's Rebel. Rebel.
I don't.
Okay. All right. Bye, Bulldogs.
It's a bulldog.